Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me again with yet another trial video from the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation case that is currently ongoing right now. This is my third video talking about this trial, and this one's going to be tough for me because in this one we are going to be talking all about Amber Heard taking the stand and telling her story and her version of events that took place during her relationship and marriage to Johnny Depp. So I already did two videos like this. The first video talking about like the first 6-7 days of trial, and then I did a video talking all about the two psychologists and what their viewpoints were. And this one is going to be talking about Amber Heard taking the stand. This is just going to be her direct examination. The trial is still ongoing right now. I still have yet to see Amber Heard's cross-examination. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do a video on the cross-examination. If you guys want me to, I can. But this video is just going to be talking about the first 2 days of her direct examination because just seeing those 2 days, I saw enough. I saw enough to determine and have an opinion and to make this video. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about, you know, the way she was acting on the stand, her storytelling, her mannerisms, the way she would describe things. It was just, the secondhand embarrassment was truly real. So yeah, we're going to jump right into it. I am just going to be doing my makeup while we talk about this. So we're going to go from this to, you know, looking better. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. For those of you who are sick and tired of hearing about the trial, for those of you who are sick and tired about talking about the trial, I totally get it. I totally understand. But this has been so fascinating to me, and this has literally been consuming my entire life at the moment. And I like to film things and talk about things that I like and what I'm currently into. And right now, this trial is what I'm currently into. So if you guys want to watch along with me and hang out with me and hear my opinions on Ambu's or Turd, then go ahead and stick around. But if you don't, you can just wait and watch my next video because there will be plenty more that don't involve the trial. So on May the 4th is the day that Amber Heard finally took the stand in her defense. It was her time to get up there, up on the stand, and tell everybody, the jury, the court, the judge, her attorneys, the world, basically what went down in her version of events. And I was, oh my God, I was so anxious and so ready for this to happen. Like, I cannot even describe to you. Everyone has been so anxious to see and watch and listen to what she had to say. Like, everyone was just waiting for this day, and it finally happened. Now, if you guys remember, in my last video, I talked about how all of Johnny Depp's 30-ish witnesses all talked about how they never saw Amber Heard sustain any sort of injury by Johnny Depp. They never saw any signs of abuse by Johnny Depp. Just kind of keep that in mind as we talk about this. There was also evidence on Johnny's side proving that Amber's Washington op-ed article that she wrote negatively influenced Johnny Depp's career. So we also saw evidence of that as well. Johnny Depp supposedly missed out on a mere like $40 million in income because of Amber Heard's op-ed article and the accusations that she made against him. Now, with all of that proof that we saw from Johnny Depp's side, I'm sure Amber's team was sweating and freaking out when it came their turn to present their case because we heard a lot of credible testimony from Johnny Depp's side, so I'm sure Amber's team was just sweating bullets preparing for their day. So once again, one of the things that I noticed is I did notice that Amber once again was copying Johnny's outfits. So the day before Amber took the stand, Johnny Depp was wearing like a dark suit jacket with a blue undershirt, and the very next day, May the 4th, the day Amber took the stand, she was also wearing a dark jacket with a blue undershirt. And I have noticed, like, there's a pattern with Amber Heard copying Johnny Depp's outfits. Like, one day, you know, Johnny Depp will wear like a burgundy tie, and the very next day or a couple days later in court, Amber will also wear like a burgundy undershirt. It's just, I don't know why she's doing this, but it's coming off very psychotic to me. It's almost like she's mimicking him or studying him in some sort of like creepy, like fucked up way. It's just, why is she doing this? I don't understand. I don't know if she's trying to gain attention or sympathy. I don't know, but regardless of whatever it is, it's fucking psychotic, and it's definitely not coming off very good. Like, I'm like, girl, you need to fucking stop. So once Amber got on the stand, first of all, Amber's attorneys had a very lovely start, because when they called Amber to the stand, they called her by her middle name, her first name, and her last name. So instead of saying, we would like to call Amber Laura Heard to the stand, they said, we would like to call Laura Amber Heard to the stand. I was like, oh my god, here the fuck we go. That's a sign. That's how you know everything's gonna be kicked off, is just the way they started that. Like, what the hell? Are you mental? I can't with her attorneys. I literally can't. They're just so dumb. Where did they get their law degrees? Fucking wish. So as the same with Johnny Depp, the first thing that Amber's attorneys did is they went over her whole life story. They talked about where she grew up, you know, her school life, all that stuff, the same way they did with Johnny Depp, which is normal to be expected. And of course, they made her sound like this sweet, strong, independent, charitable Catholic school little Texan girl, basically trying to paint a very specific picture for the jury, if you know what I mean. They just wanted to make her look like this fucking saint. They just wanted to make her look like the Virgin fucking Mary, okay? Like, they were trying so hard, like, oh, you went to a Catholic school in Texas and you worked at, like, meat soup kitchen, you're a good girl. Bitch, no. And then they talked about her career a little bit, how she wanted to leave Texas and she wanted to do something more with her life. So she went to New York and modeling, and then she started doing, like, little movie roles, whatever. And they talked about her, movie career, basically, and I personally consider Amber Heard a D-list actress. I don't consider her an A-list. She's not that good. She hasn't been in that many well-known things. She's just not very well-known in Hollywood. Now, they didn't call her a D-list actress. I did. That's just my own personal opinion. Personally, I don't think Amber Heard is a very good actress. Basically talked about how she had big roles in smaller films, or she would have smaller roles in bigger films, but she never really had anything groundbreaking. It was always just like little bits here and there, little bits here and there. So she's definitely more of like a D-list actress. How she never really got anywhere in Hollywood until her 2018 film Aquaman with Jason Momoa, where she had a leading role of playing Mira in the film. That was really her big break. That was really like the height of her career, which is pretty sad, if I'm being honest. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm not surprised that she's never made it, because I always just thought she wasn't a very good actress. I always thought she was just very plain and not very, like, she's not very memorable, I guess. Well, I mean, now she will be, because she will forever be known as a bedshitter. And I thought this before the trial, too. I have never been a fan of Amber Heard. I knew who she was because of, like, Pineapple Express and stuff like that. And then, of course, they got into the story of how she met Johnny Depp, which we talked about in the first video. She met him on the set of the movie The Rum Diary, and she talked about, like, how much they had in common and how much chemistry they had. And basically, I kind of talked about this in my first trial video as well. Basically, it was history from there. Like, their love just took off. It was electrifying. They fell in love super fast. They fell head over heels for each other. It was just a very, like, heavy, lustful, electric, like, crazy in love kind of relationship, and it all happened very fast, is how she described it. Now, right away, as soon as we got to the part about Johnny Depp, like, when she was talking about where she grew up and when she was talking about the beginning of her career, I found her to be very genuine. But as soon as we got into the parts where we were talking about, where she was talking about Johnny Depp and she was talking about how she met him and, you know, blah, 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 I became very uncomfortable very quickly, because this is the part in her testimony in her first day is when she started to become very disingenuous. She started to act very funny. Like, in the beginning, you know, she answered the questions and she seemed very genuine. She seemed like she was telling the truth. And then as soon as we got on the Johnny topic, it's like all of that changed and she became this completely different version of herself. Or she was like, it's like she turned on the audition tape, so to speak. And to be perfectly honest with you, like, the first 2 days of her testimony so far, there have been parts where I have had to skip through, or there have been parts where I just had to just completely turn it off and stop watching, because I can't with her. Like, if you have seen any videos, like whether that be TikTok videos or any videos on YouTube of the actual trial. Like, she is just so bad at acting, and she just comes off so disingenuous, it's not even funny. Like, I got uncomfortable to the point where I literally had to stop watching. Just like with the way she was talking, her expressive choice in wording, her expressions that she was making, the rapid blinking, the constantly looking around, it's just very weird. I just was like, what? Like, is this for real? I was not expecting her to act like this on the stand. Like, obviously I expected some sort of performance, but with what I saw, I was just like, this cannot be fucking real right now. And the very first lie I picked up on, and the first act of perjury, basically, is when they were on the stand in 2016 for the UK trial, where they were also under oath, where they were giving their depositions, where Amber was giving her deposition. She claimed that the first year of her and Johnny's relationship, there was absolutely no abuse and everything was perfect and magical. And Johnny Depp also contested to this as well. He said, yes, like the first year and a half was amazing, there was no problems. But this time, while she is also under oath and on the stand, she said that the abuse started right away in the relationship. So she said that there was no abuse in 2012 in the UK trial, and then all of a sudden in the US trial, she said the abuse started in 2012. So it's, how do you not, like, and I'm pretty sure those are the dates, don't, like, kill me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong. This is a lot to follow, this is a lot of dates to keep track of, so if those aren't the correct dates, then I'm sorry, but I'm almost positive that that's what she was saying, is that she can't keep her story straight. And we all know what they say about liars. Liars can never keep their story straight. I know a few YouTubers like that. The second lie and the second act of perjury that I noticed, and this one made me actually giggle. So she said this one first, actually, and I didn't notice it until I was like kind of going back and rewatching to take notes. But this one made me laugh. So the very first question, after getting like her name, her age, and all that, the very first question they asked her is, why are you here? And Amber said, I am here today because my ex-husband is suing me for an op-ed that I wrote. Did anybody else catch that? Because as soon as she said that, I started to giggle like a little schoolgirl. And the reason for that is because literally, I think either that day or the day before, her team made the argument that Amber didn't write the op-ed, the ACLU did, but Amber just put her name on it. But Amber didn't write the op-ed. However, Amber gets up on the stand and says, the op-ed that I wrote. She literally just adopted it right there. Like, and not only that, but she also tweeted about it when it came out, saying like, oh yeah, check out this op-ed I wrote. So she just can't, like, she cannot stop lying. She cannot keep her fucking story straight. It's like, what is it, Amber? Did the ACLU write it or did you write it? Because 30 minutes ago, your team is saying that the ACLU wrote it, and then literally a couple minutes later, you're saying that you wrote it. So which is it? Like, I'm confused here. And then we start getting into some red flags about when Amber actually started talking about the alleged abuse, like talking about the first time Johnny hit her, which was very interesting because she was talking about the first time that Johnny Depp ever laid hands on her, and she says, and I quote, I was walking out of the bedroom and he hit me in the face. Then I turned to look at him and I said, Johnny, you hit me. Johnny, you just hit me. Did you catch that there? Walking out of the bedroom and he hits you in the face. So you turn to look at him. Bitch! What? You turn to look at him after he slapped you in the face? Can someone please? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Some other red flags is I noticed she would constantly talk in circles, never really getting to a point. Her weird and strange descriptions of things, talking about dirty carpet and beautiful flooring and staring at the airplane floor, or just the way she was describing things was very, very odd to me. It's almost like she read this out of a novel and was reciting it to the court. It was extremely strange the way she was acting. Her, like I said earlier, the rapid blinking, the constant looking at the jury for validation, seeing if she's captivating her audience, looking up, you know, putting her nose up, and just very weird. And, you know, like I just told you, the very first time Johnny hit her, you know, slapped me in the face and I turned to look at him. You know, the inconsistencies with her stories, you know, kind of jumping around. You know, first she would be like, we were sitting on the couch and then I was on the floor, but then I was sitting on the edge of the couch and Johnny, you know, punched me, and then I was in the kitchen making an egg roll. Like, just not really getting to a point. Very, very poor stories of like what happened, not making a point, jumping around, getting confused, going in circles. And then of course the actual abuse itself had a lot of red flags to me. Now, during her whole relationship and marriage to Johnny Depp, Amber Heard did a lot of illegally recording him in their private life. Now, Johnny also recorded them, but he told her that he was going to be recording their conversations, you know, for, you know, the next day so she could hear how she speaks to him. And, you know, I talked about that a little bit as well. But Amber, little Miss Amber, did a lot of illegal recording of Johnny Depp. Now, what I mean by illegal recording is California is a two-party consent state, meaning if you are going to record someone in another room with you, you have to have their consent as well. You can't just record without them knowing. They have to know about it. And Amber did a lot of illegally recorded things where she would set up her video, you know, her phone to get videos or record conversations or things like that that Johnny wasn't necessarily aware of every single time. So a lot of these recordings that she got of Johnny Depp were actually illegally recorded, and I don't know how they were admissible in court, but, you know, whatever. Now, what I found to be very interesting through all of these illegally recorded things by Amber Heard is she recorded everything. But the only thing she didn't record, including pictures, is she didn't record the alleged abuse that Johnny Depp was putting on her, or when he was berating her, or when he was beating the shit out of her. Now, you know, if she was getting the shit beat out of her, she probably didn't have time to, like, get her phone out and be like, hang on, let me record this real quick. Like, I get that, but I just find it very interesting how she recorded, like, you know, 80% of their relationship together, but yet never recorded any of that stuff. I found that very, very interesting. And her injuries, that was another major red flag that I noticed that I just could not get over and I could not let go. She claimed that Johnny Depp hit her, would always hit her across the face several times over and over and over again. Yet she never took any photos of it. Never. And the photos that she did take were just red splotches on her face. There weren't any real injuries. There wasn't any major bruising. There wasn't any major swelling. There was no blood. There was no, you know, what you would get if you were being hit in the face multiple times over and over again. She never took pictures of that stuff. And another thing about these pictures is that there's no metadata along with it. There's no original dates of when these pictures were taken. Everything seems to be a little bit edited. And another thing is if you study Johnny Depp and you know, see him, he always wears rings on his fingers, okay? And let me tell you something. If you are being hit in the face repeatedly over and over and over, like she is claiming, almost every single day, like she is claiming, if someone hits you in the face with all of those rings on, I can tell you right the fuck now that your face would be split wide open, okay? Being hit in the face by someone who's wearing big, heavy rings is like getting hit in the face with someone wearing brass knuckles. That would cause so much damage, yet there's no pictures of that, okay? There are 0 pictures of that. And for her to say that Johnny Depp hit her so many times every single day and slapped her across the face and punched her in the face and headbutted her, yet we never saw evidence of it. There are no pictures. The only evidence that Amber has is pictures of Johnny sleeping and pictures of house damage or wine spilled on the floor or a picture frame that was broken but yet was put back on the wall perfectly. Like, there's no evidence. And also everyone who has testified has testified that they saw absolutely no injuries on Amber Heard ever. And like, I just couldn't believe, like, how much she was claiming that he hit her, because she just, every time she'd be like, yeah, I went to the kitchen and I got a glass of milk and he slapped me and he punched me. And then I took a pee and he pushed me against a wall and punched me in the face. It's like, you're, like, the over exaggerating is crazy. Like, if he hit you that much multiple times over and over and over again for weeks on end, you would not be able to go out in public for months at a time. Now, I hate to bring this up, but let's talk about the Rihanna and Chris Brown situation, okay? He hit her in a moving vehicle, and her face looked like someone took a baseball bat to it, and she had to cancel months of appearances because of her injuries. Yeah, Amber Heard, apparently, this Amica cream must be some serious shit, because for her to be beat every single day and punched in the face by someone who wears really big rings, and for her face to not be split open and she can go out in public the very next day without any evidence of injuries at all, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. She claimed multiple times that he broke her nose. Bitch, do you know what a broken nose looks like? Because when you break a nose, not only do you have a lot of trauma in this area, both of your eyes go completely black. There's a lot of bruising and there's a lot of discoloration that makeup cannot cover. Makeup cannot cover swelling, okay? And there was absolutely no swelling ever. She did not have a broken nose, because if she did have a broken nose, she wouldn't be going anywhere for about 2 months on end. Now, another red flag, and I actually heard a body expert talk about this, is Amber gave a lot of descriptions, about people, about her surroundings, the sounds, what certain things looked like. But then when she got to the actual abuse part of it, it was like this. So she would be like, it was 76, this is like an example, but she would be like, it's like it was 76 degrees out, there was 2 clouds in the sky, there was a bird eating from the bird feeder, the carpet. I was laying on the carpet, and the carpet was so dirty, and I've never seen the carpet so dirty before, and I couldn't understand like how dirty the carpet was and why it was so dirty. And then I was wearing this brown shirt, and I had a gold necklace on, and I was drinking a cup of coffee. Just think, like, building it up, and then she'd be like, and he hit me. And afterwards, I went out to my car, and I was breathing on the window, and I was just watching my breath on the window of the car, of the side of the car, blah, blah, blah. So that's another major red flag to me. And this is what the body language expert talked about, is she gave very, very big befores, very, very big afters, but very, very small instances of the actual incident that took place, okay? It should be the other way around. It should be, a before, a incident, and an after. It's very interesting. She couldn't give a lot of detail about the actual alleged abuse that took place, but she could give a description on dirty carpet. Sure, bitch. Another thing that I thought was very unfair, that I thought was very convenient for Miss Heard, is she talked about how she did have witnesses to her injuries and to the abuse. But here's what's interesting about that, is the people that she claimed who are her witnesses are all dead. Okay, she claimed that Jerry Judge, which was Johnny Depp's head of security at the time, she claimed that Jerry Judge was a witness to her injuries and her abuse, and she also claimed that her mother was a witness to all of her injuries and things like that. Okay, fun fact, Jerry Judge and her mother are both dead. So how convenient is that, Miss Amber, where both of your supposed witnesses are both dead and cannot, confirm nor deny those allegations? I found that very interesting, and I was like, really now? And she also kept bringing up Johnny Depp's kids, and I'm sure for Johnny Depp, I'm sure this was absolute hell on earth to listen to this psychotic bitch talk about your children. She would talk about how, her and Lily Rose were, close, and she was taking care of Lily Rose, and blah, blah, blah. Here's another thing that's a little unfair about that, okay? Johnny Depp's kids are not involved in this case. Johnny Depp did not want his children involved in this because that would just be a media circus, and he did not want that for them. Yeah, Amber is bringing up all of these things that she talked to Lily Rose about, or that Lily Rose witnessed. Lily Rose is Johnny Depp's daughter. Or that, things she would talk about with Lily Rose. But Lily Rose is not there to confirm nor deny these things. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing, Amber? First of all, your only 2 witnesses are dead, and then you're talking about someone who isn't involved in the case that can't confirm nor deny these things. Again, how convenient for you and how interesting. You know, and then she got into this, like, you know, protective mother mode where she would talk about how she was taking care of Jack and Lily Rose, or there was an incident on the island where Lily Rose and Amber got on the helicopter from the yacht and they were heading back to the island, and Amber was just cradling Lily Rose while Lily Rose cried, and Amber was there for her, and blah, blah, blah. Bitch, Lily Rose never liked you because of the way you were treating her father, okay? Like, Amber tried so hard to make herself look like this loving and devoted stepmommy, and it's like, One of the biggest lies that I caught on to is when they were talking about her and Johnny's wedding in LA. Amber claimed that Lily Rose was there and that after the wedding, her and Lily Rose and the whole family had a nice little wedding dinner and blah, blah, blah. It was so cute and nice and innocent. No drugs were involved at all. She was lying so much out of her fucking teeth. First of all, Lily Rose wasn't at the wedding because she didn't want to be there because she didn't agree with the marriage. I just, like, couldn't, like, when she said that, I was like, is this woman for real? Someone needs to 5150 her ass straight to a psych ward because I cannot with these lies. So for Amber to be like, yeah, like, you know, we got married and it was great and we're this beautiful little family and we had a dinner, like, no, the fuck, you didn't. Not to mention, Amber completely forgot to leave out the fact that she had major drugs at her wedding, which, I mean, that's fine, party it up, but don't lie about it, okay? On their wedding itinerary, it was literally like ceremony, drinks, drugs, dancing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Amber claimed that she never did drugs. She doesn't like cocaine. She doesn't do drugs. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And once Amber decided to get really emotional on the stand, this is where it got very, very awkward, secondhand embarrassment, super uncomfortable to watch, is Amber would start crying, but she would have absolutely zero, and we're talking 0 tears. No tears coming from that girl's face, all right? And I'm here to tell you, because everyone is watching this video right now, we're all human beings, okay? And we have all had ourselves a really good cry at least once in our lives, okay? You know, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes you gotta have a good cry. Sometimes you just gotta scream, cry, get snot everywhere, like, you know, we all gotta do it. But you notice what I just said there, is when you are bawling and when you are sobbing, it is a natural human reaction to have tears coming out of your face. Tears, eyes swelling, redness from crying so much. The second thing is when you are bawling and when you are sobbing, the snot, the amount of snot that comes out of your nose when you are crying like that is unreal. It's almost worse than the tears, okay? So for how much Amber was bawling and sobbing and just losing her mind, she had no tears and absolutely no snot, okay? I don't know about you guys, but when I bawl my eyes out, like when I have a really good cry, I have to like use an entire box of tissues to get all the snot out of my nose. And yet Amber barely had a sniffle and no tears. That is a red flag. That is a pure sign of her faking it. That is a pure sign of her acting. And just looking at her, the way she was trying so hard to get a tear out, but she just couldn't do it, that was very, very telling to me. And I was like, this bitch is crying without no goddamn tears. Oh my God, she's like, how does she do that? And if you guys remember in my psychology video about this case, the Dr. Dawn Hughes claimed that Amber did in fact suffer from PTSD. Now, when Amber was up on the stand and her attorney asked her how she felt about Johnny Depp suing her for $50 million for the op-ed that she wrote in the Washington Post in December of 2018, Amber claimed that sitting in the courthouse for weeks on end, listening to everything and going through this was one of the hardest things she has ever had to endure in her life. Now, let me get this straight. You're telling me that Amber Heard has PTSD, yet this trial, the last 3-4 weeks, has been the hardest thing she has ever had to deal with in her life. I thought she had PTSD from all of this trauma. Shouldn't that be the worst thing in her life? But yet this court case is? Every victim of domestic violence and every victim of sexual assault is very different. Everyone has different ways of coping. everyone remembers different things from their assault. Like, you know, it's going to be different for everybody. That's fine. However, most victims of domestic violence do not ramble on and on and on and on and on and on about the incident. The last thing they want to do is talk about it. They will give very vague details. They will answer the question with yes or no with a little bit of details here because they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to relive that moment. They don't want people, strangers, to hear it because it's crushing, it's soul crushing, it's embarrassing, it's shameful, it triggers a lot of PTSD in some people. Yeah, Amber Heard had zero issues at all talking about it. She would go on and on and on about details, and a couple times her attorney had to stop her and be like, well, I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to stop you from talking right there. Like, Amber had no problem going on and on and on about all of these fabricated stories about her alleged abuse at the hands of Johnny Depp. It doesn't add up. And another thing about domestic violence victims is it's very difficult for them to be close to, and it's very difficult for them to look at and see their abuser. You will notice them looking down a lot. You will notice them averting their eyes away from the direction where their abuser is sitting in court. They will not look at them. They don't want to look at them because, again, it's very triggering. It brings up a lot of those emotions. It triggers that PTSD. It's shameful. It's embarrassing to be that close and to have eye contact with your abuser. However, Amber Heard, the entire time that Johnny was up on the stand, she stared at him and glared at him the entire time. And even when she was on the stand, you know, she would dart her eyes in his direction every once in a while. Whereas if you'll watch Johnny Depp while Amber is on the stand, he looks down the entire time because he doesn't want to relive that moment of being abused by looking at her because that can be very triggering. Amber Heard had no issue staring at him the entire time he was on the stand, and even when she was on the stand, no issue. No issue at all. Interesting, isn't it? Now, the only thing that I found to be somewhat reasonable with Amber Heard is she did talk about how Johnny was a little bit jealous and kind of, you know, very insecure and very overprotective. Now, that's one, and I did talk about this in my last video a little bit about this too, is that's one thing where I can kind of see where she's coming from because, you know, I can kind of see that with Johnny, you know, dating, you know, beautiful women and being in Hollywood. I can see how a lot of insecurity can spike from that. So that is one thing that I can kind of believe, and that is one thing that I can kind of, you know, understand where she's coming from. Because, you know, a lot of relationships struggle with insecurities and jealousy. However, I do think that while I do think there may be some truth to that, I do also believe that Amber was very much exaggerating it to the point where it was, like, you know, really unnecessary. I do feel like she like, you know, maybe the jealousy and protectiveness was here, whereas Amber made it look like he was, like, she wasn't allowed to leave the house. Like, just very, very over-exaggerating with that. I just cannot get over how someone takes pictures and records everything, but does not get proof of a broken nose, broken ribs, you know, sliced up feet from being dragged across glass or walking on glass, cuts all over her body, you know, black eyes, broken teeth, you know, just, you take pictures of everything except those things. Make it make sense, because that makes no goddamn sense. If you are truly being abused, you would document it. And you said you documented it, and you say you have evidence of it, but you don't. You have a picture of a fucking kangaroo outside of a house, and you have a picture of a wine bottle spilled on the floor, and you have a picture of your husband sleeping. That's not evidence. That's desperation. That's lies. And another thing I noticed about Amber Heard's testimony is she would copy Johnny's testimony quite a bit, because if you guys remember, Johnny Depp went on the stand first and then Amber went on second. And I noticed that she would copy his testimony pretty often, because if you guys remember Johnny's, he talked about how, you know, when Amber would start these tirades of arguments and throwing punches and getting physical, Johnny would run away and go to another room. Well, guess what Amber also claimed that she did? She claimed that she ran away and she went to another room, such as a bathroom or another bedroom. No, the fuck you didn't. We listened to the recordings, sweet little Amber. And I can tell you right now, you were the antagonizer. You were the gaslighter. You were the one who was egging him on. You were the one saying, oh, be a man, like, don't run away, like, face the fight, blah, blah, blah. You always run away, you're such a coward. Like, it is such bullshit. For Amber to literally copy Johnny Depp's testimony is disgusting. For her to be like, oh, I would run away and hide because I had to remove myself from the situation. Don't play with me, honey. We all heard the recordings, and we all heard Johnny's testimony, so how very cheap of you to copy his words. How very cheap of you to copy his story. And you know, Amber always claims how she's such a strong-willed, independent, like, no bullshit kind of person, yet when it comes to Johnny, she would run away and hide. No, the fuck she didn't. Another thing that I just found so not believable is the amount of abuse that she claimed that Johnny did was just overly abundant. Like, it was almost too much. Like, unbelievably too much, you know? Just, like I said earlier, you know, she claimed she would get out of bed and he would walk up to her and smack her across the face. It's like, Amber, like, that's enough. Let's settle down on the theatrics a bit. And, like, same with the, like, 2014 Met Gala situation when her and Johnny went to the Met Gala. She claimed that let's see, let's look at my notes here. She had broken ribs, a broken nose, bruising and swelling all over her body and face. Where? And just, like, she contradicts herself all of the time. Like, she's like, I'm very strong, I show no fear, I'm a strong-willed person, like, I'm a tough-ass bitch. But at the same time, her attorneys and her are also trying to make herself look like this sad, meek, like, fragile little woman that can't stand up for herself, and she was just trapped and held hostage and abused and raped constantly. And like I said, I had a very hard time finishing her direct examination, especially when we got to the sexual assault allegations. Like, I became very uncomfortable because true victims of sexual assault, what Amber was doing was an insult to us all. I literally had to turn it off. I had to wait for it to be over because I was getting so angry, so frustrated, so uncomfortable with the way she was describing the supposed sexual assault incident. So when Amber was recounting the night of the alleged bottle sexual assault, she was very visibly upset. She was sobbing and bawling, again with no snot or tears, and she had a hard time getting sentences out. She was just having a very hard time on the stand, and it was very uncomfortable to watch because if she was genuine, that would have been very difficult to watch. But because she wasn't genuine, it just made everyone very uncomfortable because it just looked like bad acting. Now, here's what happens in court. When victims of sexual assault are on the stand and they are recounting for the act that took place, and they are acting in such a way where they are hyperventilating, where they are having a hard time speaking, where they are sobbing, where things are getting very, very serious and things are getting very scary for the victim to talk about this to the point where they might pass out or get sick. Typically when that happens, the judge will stop their testimony and she will give the court a break so the victim can compose themselves, so the victim can, you know, have a glass of water and just breathe for a minute. However, and this I found to be very, very interesting. When Amber was up on the stand and, you know, she was doing her whole little, like, act of trying to get the details out of the sexual assault, the judge or her attorneys never stopped her. They let her keep going. So I'm wondering why they did that. Is it because the judge knows that she's faking? Because I'm sure the judge has seen this plenty of times in her career. So did the judge let her keep going because she knows that Amber is faking this and she wants her to basically hang herself by doing this? Or did they just not give a shit? Because typically the judge would be like, okay, that's enough. We're going to take our, 15-minute recess. Let's collect yourself, calm down, blah, blah, blah. They just let her keep going, and that was very telling. And what I also found interesting is Amber almost kept looking up at her attorneys, like almost wanting them to be like, okay, let's stop. Let's not talk about it. But they didn't. And Amber just, it was just weird. Like, she was like, like, you know what I mean? Just kept looking at her attorneys like, please make this stop. Please make this stop. I don't want to talk about it because it didn't happen, because it's not true. You know, that's very, very telling to me. I mean, even during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, when he was on the stand and he was recounting a memory and he started bawling and sobbing, even the judge stopped then and was like, okay, like, we're gonna take a break, like, sir, compose yourself, calm down. You know, they even did that with him. But now with Amber, they're like, we're gonna let this bitch hang herself right the fuck now. Let's keep it going, you know. Action! Just her whole entire testimony for the 2 days just was so fake, so rehearsed, and not in a good way. Like, it is very normal to prep your people. It is very normal to do that. That's just common practice. You meet up, you know, you talk about the questions that are going to be asked, you prep your answers. However, the difference between, you know, being prepped and reading out of a script is just that. Reading out of a script. Amber made herself look like that she was on an audition for a Lifetime drama movie and she was going to be the starring role in it, because the way she was acting, literally acting, not genuine at all, couldn't take her seriously. I don't think anybody who has watched her testimony, I don't think I have heard one person say, wow, she was really genuine, like, oh my god, this woman is so scorned. I have yet to hear one person say that, because it was very fake, very acted, very rehearsed. It was, I'm sorry. And, you know, every once in a while, Johnny's attorneys would make objections of, like, hearsay, foundation, things like that, which is normal, you know, but they weren't doing it as much as the other way around. Amber's attorneys fucking love objections. And, you know, Johnny's team made a few of them, you know, but they were reasonable, but they didn't do a ton of them. And the reason for that is because they want Amber to keep spewing her bullshit, and they want Amber to keep committing acts of perjury, because let's face it, she's done that about 6 times already. And they want her to keep going because it's going to help their case. It's going to help them with cross-examination. Now, like I said in my last video, I wasn't too happy with the cross-examination with the psychologist, so I really hope that they're going to nail it with Amber's. Now, like I said, I didn't really fully finish the rest of Amber's direct testimony. I feel like at that point I had heard enough, and I was just sick of the theatrics at that point. Like, too much bad acting is not good for your heart, so I had to stop at that point. So the rest of Amber Heard's direct testimony went through the end of the day on May 5th, and then the court went into recess, and they are going to be in recess until May 16th. Court will resume on Monday, May 16th at 9 a.m. while Amber will finish up her direct testimony and hopefully, fingers crossed, get into the cross-examination on that day. Now, many of you are probably like, why is court taking such a long break? What's going on? Well, the judge in this case has a conference that she had pre-committed to before the trial started. So she is going to be at a conference all of next week, and then court will resume Monday, May 16th. And I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I don't know what I'm going to do for this next week, because I have been so consumed in this. I have been researching so much of this. So for them to go on such a long break, I'm just kind of like, ah! But what I'm kind of wondering is this a good thing for Amber, or is this a bad thing for Amber that the court is going to be on this long week break? Is for her to leave the jury with all of these incredible allegations and stories, is that going to help her case to leave the jury sitting with that all week, or is that going to damage it to the point where maybe the jury will forget about it and, you know, recount some of the other crucial evidence that they saw? So I'm very curious as to what this means for the jury and what way they're leaning right now and what they're thinking right now, especially after seeing Amber act this way over the last 2 days. And I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that this helped Amber by, you know, leaving the jury with all of these visions and thoughts on their minds, or do you think it's not a good thing? Let me know. So this trial started on April 11th, and it's for the first like 2-ish weeks. It started out with Johnny Depp's testimony and all of his witnesses, and then on May 3rd is when Amber Heard's team took the stand to start to present their evidence. And court resumes on May 16th, so right now they're on a break, and closing arguments are supposed to be happening on May 27th, the weekend before before Memorial Day. So that doesn't leave a whole lot of time for Amber Heard's team to really get the rest of their evidence out there, which could mean one of two things. Amber Heard's team has completely run out of time and didn't prepare very well for this, or Amber's team doesn't have as much evidence and or witnesses to present their case, so that's why it is ending when it is ending. So I'm very curious to see how the rest of this trial is going to pan out. I'm also, and this also kind of shocked me and I did not know this, but there are certain time slots that the plaintiff and the defendant get to present their case, and then once their time runs out in court, they're done. They cannot have any more witnesses, they cannot present any more evidence, they cannot make any more arguments. I didn't know that. I thought this could go on forever and ever and ever, but I think each attorney has like 40-something hours to present stuff, and Amber Heard has significantly less time to present stuff than Johnny's side. I think Johnny's side has like 36 hours remaining and Amber's side only has like 24 hours remaining where they can present stuff, and the judge said that she's going to stick very strictly to those rules, that even if they're in the middle of giving witness testimony and they run out of time, the judge is going to stop it. She's not going to allow them any more time, which I found to be very interesting. I have a feeling that the judge is kind of over this, and I have a feeling the judge is just kind of like, this is ridiculous, like this is such a mockery of the court system. Like, I just have a feeling she's kind of over it. When I first started watching this case, I thought that the judge was being very biased and I didn't think she was being very fair, but I actually think she is being a very fair judge. I think she is letting both sides play the field very equally. She's letting both sides talk. So I do really like this judge in this case, and I am super excited and super anxious for the cross-examination. I'm a little nervous about it because I really want them to nail this. I really want them to prove that she is a lying SOB. I want that so bad. Please let me know what you think about her testimony, because the secondhand embarrassment is so real that I can't stomach any more of it. I literally can't. So that was my video, and those were my thoughts on the Amber Heard testimony, the 2 days that we have seen so far. Like I said, go down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go down and give it a huge thumbs up, especially if you are hashtag justice for Johnny Depp. If you're new to my channel and this is the first video of mine that you are seeing, welcome. We are Johnny Depp fans here. We support and believe Johnny Depp. Make sure you go down and hit that red subscribe button. I do upload every 3 to 4, sometimes 5 days here. But as for the rest of you, I love you guys so very much. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening to me. I had notes for this one too, bitch. I love you all very, very much, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Justice for Johnny Depp. Let's fucking go, baby. Bye. Mwah.